Hey, my name's Emily, and I've got a spine-tingling story to share about the eerie and unsettling Silverwood Station, a train station located in the heart of Oregon. This place is shrouded in creepy rumors and a sense of foreboding that's hard to shake off. So, get ready for a thrilling ride through the mystery that is Silverwood Station. Nestled amidst the dense forests of Oregon, Silverwood Station had always been an enigmatic place. The locals spoke in hushed tones about strange happenings and unexplained disappearances associated with this remote station. As a curious soul with a fascination for the unexplained, I was eager to experience the unsettling aura of Silverwood firsthand. One foggy evening, I found myself standing on the weathered platform of Silverwood Station, the mist clinging to the air like an ethereal shroud. The dimly lit station added to the eerie ambience, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation as I waited for the next train. As I scanned my surroundings, I noticed a peculiar wooden sign at the far end of the platform. The sign depicted an old-fashioned train disappearing into a thick forest, a depiction that sent a shiver down my spine. A local named Ben, who was waiting alongside me, noticed my curiosity and offered a knowing smile. "They say that sign depicts the lost tracks of Silverwood," he said cryptically. "Legend has it that a ghostly train emerges from those woods, vanishing without a trace, taking with it anyone who dares to board." Intrigued, I pressed Ben for more information. He obliged, recounting tales that had been passed down through generations in the nearby town of Rosewood. Decades ago, Silverwood Station was a bustling hub, connecting Oregon to neighboring states. But as time passed, its significance waned, and the station fell into disuse. Soon, rumors of strange happenings began to surface, reports of a phantom train that would mysteriously appear on the tracks, only to vanish into thin air. Some claimed to have seen shadowy figures disembarking from the ghostly train, figures that disappeared into the dense forest without a trace. Others spoke of eerie sounds echoing through the night, as if the lost souls of Silverwood were trapped in an eternal loop. The most chilling tale was about a young couple who boarded the phantom train, seeking adventure and excitement. They were never seen again, leaving behind only their abandoned belongings on the platform. As Ben spoke, I couldn't help but feel a chill in the air. The mist seemed to thicken around us, adding to the aura of mystery that engulfed Silverwood Station. The train's distant whistle broke the silence, signaling its approach. As it pulled into the station, I felt a strange mixture of excitement and apprehension. Determined to uncover the truth behind the rumors, I stepped onto the train and took a seat near the window. As the train ventured deeper into the Oregon wilderness, the forest seemed to close in around us. The trees loomed like shadowy sentinels, and I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. I struck up a conversation with a fellow passenger named Sarah, who had also been drawn to the enigma of Silverwood Station. She shared stories she had heard about the train's eerie encounters, whispers in the night, unexplained footsteps, and the sensation of being followed. As our conversation deepened, I noticed the train cabin growing colder, and a sense of unease settled upon us. The rhythmic clacking of the wheels on the tracks became an unsettling symphony, as if the train itself was alive with a sinister energy. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the train shuddered to a halt. The air was thick with tension, and passengers exchanged worried glances. I peered out the window, but there was no sign of any obstruction on the tracks. The train conductor's voice crackled over the intercom, announcing a delay due to technical issues. But his voice sounded forced, as if he were concealing something. As the minutes turned into hours, the atmosphere inside the train grew tense. The once jovial conversations were replaced with anxious murmurs. Passengers speculated about the cause of the delay, but there was an unspoken understanding. We were all aware of the legends surrounding Silverwood Station. Sarah and I decided to investigate, fueled by curiosity and the desire to break free from the stifling cabin. We exited the train, stepping out into the chilly night. The mist had grown thicker, obscuring our vision. We made our way towards the woods, drawn by an inexplicable force. The forest seemed to come alive around us, the sound of rustling leaves and distant calls of nocturnal creatures adding to our growing unease. As we delved deeper into the woods, the fog seemed to part, revealing a faint glow in the distance, a dim light that flickered like a distant star. Curiosity and trepidation warred within me, but I couldn't resist the allure of the light. Sarah and I pressed on, the glow guiding us like a beacon. To our astonishment, we stumbled upon an abandoned railway track, one that had been hidden from view for years, buried beneath layers of overgrowth and moss. "This must be the lost tracks of Silverwood," Sarah whispered in awe. The eerie silence was broken by the sound of distant footsteps, and we turned to see a shadowy figure emerging from the fog. Panic gripped my heart as I realized that the phantom train had appeared before us. The train seemed to materialize out of thin air, its form flickering like a mirage. Its carriages were old-fashioned and weathered, as if they belonged to a bygone era. But there was something off about the train. It seemed to emit an otherworldly aura, as if it existed beyond the boundaries of reality. As we watched, a group of ghostly figures disembarked from the train, their forms ethereal and indistinct. They moved with an unnatural grace, as if they were merely apparitions caught between worlds. Sarah and I exchanged terrified glances, unsure of what to do. Were we witnessing the lost souls of Silverwood, forever trapped in a spectral limbo? Without warning, the train's whistle pierced the silence, and the ghostly figures began to board the train. The conductor, a shadowy figure clad in an old-fashioned uniform, beckoned them inside. In a moment of irrational fear, Sarah and I turned and fled back towards the station. The mist seemed to close in around us, and the sound of the phantom train's departure echoed in our ears. As we reached the platform, we saw the train vanishing into the distance, leaving behind only a haunting echo of its existence. The train conductor's voice crackled over the intercom, announcing that the technical issues had been resolved, and the train would resume its journey shortly. Sarah and I exchanged a knowing look, our minds reeling from the inexplicable events we had just witnessed. Had we truly encountered the lost tracks of Silverwood and the apparitions that were said to haunt this cursed station? To this day, I remain haunted by the mysteries of Silverwood Station, the eerie legends, the unsettling encounters, and the inexplicable presence of the phantom train. So, fellow Redditors, if you ever find yourself near Silverwood Station on a foggy night, beware the allure of the lost tracks. The truth behind the rumors may be stranger than you could ever imagine, and venturing too close to the unknown may lead to an encounter with forces beyond comprehension. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, the secrets of Silverwood Station may never truly be unraveled. Let's hop onto story number 2, but before I begin reading, make sure that you have subscribed to Mr. Scare for regular horror podcasts. Hey, I'm Hendrix, and I've got a spine-chilling story to share with you about a mysterious and unsettling train station called Eldritch Station, a place that has left me questioning reality itself. So, grab some popcorn, because this is going to be one wild ride. Eldritch Station stood isolated in the heart of the Arizona desert, miles away from any town or civilization. I had heard unsettling rumors about this place, strange occurrences, eerie sightings, and unexplained disappearances. With my curiosity piqued, I couldn't resist the temptation to uncover the truth behind these chilling tales. On a moonlit night, I found myself standing at the desolate platform of Eldritch Station. The air was still, and an eerie silence enveloped the area. A lone flickering bulb cast long shadows, creating an atmosphere that sent shivers down my spine. As I waited for the next train, I noticed a group of locals gathered near the station's ticketing booth. They spoke in hushed tones, exchanging tales of eerie happenings and unexplained phenomena that had plagued Eldritch Station for decades. One of the locals, an old man with sun-weathered skin, caught my attention. He introduced himself as Bill and claimed to have witnessed some of the strangest events at the station. "People say this place is cursed," Bill said with a grave expression. "They say that those who step foot in Eldritch Station are never the same again." Intrigued, I prodded him for more information. Bill obliged, sharing a tale that sent a chill down my spine. Decades ago, Eldritch Station was a bustling hub, connecting distant cities across the states. But as time went on, it fell into disrepair, and its significance diminished. Soon, the station became a mere shadow of its former self, lost in the vastness of the desert. Rumors started to circulate about strange lights and eerie sounds emanating from the station at night. Locals claimed to have seen figures moving through the darkness, their forms flickering like apparitions. One story that stuck with me was about a young woman named Laura who had vanished without a trace. She was a passenger waiting for the last train of the night, but she never boarded. Her family and friends searched tirelessly, but she was never found. From that day on, Eldritch Station took on an aura of mystique and dread. Locals began to avoid the station, attributing the bizarre happenings to an otherworldly force. As Bill recounted these stories, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. Yet, I was determined to unravel the truth behind these chilling rumors. I thanked him for his time and resolved to explore the station further on my own. The night grew darker, and the platform became shrouded in an impenetrable darkness. The distant howling of the wind only added to the eerie ambience. I began to question my decision to venture into this desolate place alone. With my heart pounding in my chest, I stepped inside the ticketing area. The interior was even more decrepit than the exterior, with peeling paint and cobwebs coating the walls. I couldn't help but feel like an intruder in a long-forgotten realm. As I walked through the empty corridors, I heard faint whispers echoing through the station. The voices were distant and distorted, impossible to decipher. It was as if the very walls were trying to communicate with me, weaving a sinister narrative. Determined to investigate further, I descended into the station's underground tunnels. The air grew colder, and the echoes of my footsteps seemed to stretch on indefinitely. I felt like I was delving into the heart of a forgotten abyss. Suddenly, I heard the faint sound of footsteps behind me. I turned around, but there was no one there. My heart raced, and I quickened my pace, hoping to escape this surreal nightmare. The tunnel opened up to a vast chamber, and my breath caught in my throat as I beheld an incredible sight. The walls were covered in ancient symbols and markings, etched into the stone with an eerie precision. I couldn't comprehend their meaning, but they exuded an unmistakable aura of power and mystique. As I explored further, I noticed a peculiar artifact placed at the center of the chamber, a curious-looking sculpture that seemed both ancient and futuristic. Its intricate design left me mesmerized, and I couldn't help but reach out to touch it. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air, and the artifact began to emit an otherworldly light. I stumbled back in shock, my heart pounding in my chest. It was as if I had awakened a dormant force that was now demanding my attention. As the light grew brighter, I heard the sound of whispers all around me, but they were not the same as before. These were clear and distinct, as if conveying a message. I strained my ears, trying to comprehend their meaning. Then, as suddenly as it had started, the artifact's light dimmed, and the whispers ceased. I was left standing in the darkness, feeling both exhilarated and unnerved by the experience. I made my way back to the surface, my mind racing with questions and possibilities. What had I stumbled upon in that mysterious chamber? Was there a connection between the station's eerie rumors and the artifact I had encountered? As I exited the station, the first rays of dawn began to break through the darkness. The warm glow of the rising sun seemed to dispel the lingering sense of unease, and I realized that I had escaped the clutches of Eldritch Station. My experience at the enigmatic station left me with more questions than answers. I couldn't help but wonder if there was a logical explanation behind the unsettling rumors, or if Eldritch Station truly held secrets beyond our understanding. So, fellow Redditors, if you ever find yourself near Eldritch Station in the heart of the Arizona desert, prepare yourself for an encounter with the inexplicable. Trust your instincts, stay vigilant, and perhaps you, too, will be drawn into the enigma of this mysterious place. But remember, once you step foot inside Eldritch Station, you might never be the same again. Hey there, my name's Max, and I got a story that'll send shivers down your spine. It's all about this creepy train station known as Twilight Depot, tucked away in the heart of the great state of Montana. You best buckle up, cause this here tale is gonna take you on one wild and chilling ride. Twilight Depot had this eerie air about it, like a ghost town from the old West days. Locals swapped stories about strange stuff going down around the station, mysterious disappearances, odd lights in the night sky, and shadowy figures lurking among the tracks. One frosty evening, I found myself at Twilight Depot, itching to see if them rumors held any truth. The station's rusted sign creaked in the wind, and the flickering lights gave the place an uncanny feel. As I waited for the next train, I met a local named Jim, a grizzled old-timer who'd been round these parts for years. He tipped his hat and grinned. "Ain't he heard about the Twilight Terrors, have ya?" Intrigued, I asked him to spill the beans. Jim obliged, setting the stage for a tale that'd make your hair stand on end. See, back in the day, Twilight Depot was a hub for cattle transport and travelers. But things took a turn fairly spooky when a series of strange incidents set tongues wagging. Rumor had it that a freight train derailed years back, vanishing into thin air. Nobody knows for sure what happened, but some say the train went off course and plunged into an old mine shaft. Ever since, peculiar things happened round the depot. Some said they saw flickering lights and heard ghostly whistles in the night. And if you squint your eyes just right, you might spot a spectral train moving through the darkness. I couldn't help but feel a chill as Jim spun these tales. The air was thick with mystery, and I knew there was more to this place than met the eye. The train's whistle cut through the night, and the iron beast chugged into the station. I hopped on board, cause I figured there was no better way to dig deep into the Twilight Terrors than right from the belly of the beast. As the train rumbled on, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The shadows danced outside the windows, and my mind played tricks on me. But I ain't one to back down from a good mystery. I struck up a chat with a fellow traveler named Lucy, who had this eerie aura about her. She had this wild look in her eyes, like she'd seen things that couldn't be explained. As we swapped stories, Lucy shared tales about strange encounters she'd had round the depot. She spoke about seeing figures darting among the tracks and hearing voices whispering in the wind. I tried to brush it off as just spooky stories, but something in Lucy's eyes made me think there might be more to it. As the train rumbled on, the night grew darker and the air grew heavy with tension. The train's rhythm seemed off, like it was moving too fast or too slow, hard to tell which. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the train shuddered to a halt. Panic spread through the cabin like wildfire, and whispers of the Twilight Terrors echoed through the air. The conductor's voice crackled over the intercom, claiming technical issues were to blame. But something in his voice felt off, like he was hiding something. Lucy and I exchanged wary glances, sharing a silent agreement that we needed to get to the bottom of this. With a sense of trepidation, we stepped off the train and into the cold night air. The depot was shrouded in darkness, and the only light came from the moon hanging high in the sky. As we ventured towards the tracks, the ground beneath us felt odd, like we were walking on hollow ground. The shadows danced in the moonlight, and the station took on an otherworldly air. Then, from the corner of my eye, I saw something moving among the trees. It was a dark figure, skulking through the shadows, watching our every move. Lucy and I exchanged a terrified glance, knowing we weren't alone out here in the night. The Twilight Terrors were real, and they were hunting us. In that moment, instinct took over, and we ran like there was no tomorrow. The air grew colder, and the sound of footsteps echoed behind us. The train's whistle cut through the silence, piercing the night like a warning. But we didn't stop. We kept running, till we reached the safety of the station. Back at Twilight Depot, Lucy and I shared our harrowing encounter with the other passengers. Some believed our story, while others scoffed, chalking it up to an overactive imagination. But Lucy and I knew what we'd seen. The Twilight Terrors were real, and something haunted that place. To this day, I can't explain what we encountered that night. But one thing's fair sure, Twilight Depot ain't just a regular old station. It's a place where shadows dance, and the line between reality and the unexplained blurs. So, if you ever find yourself at Twilight Depot, keep your wits about you. The Twilight Terrors might be watching, lurking in the shadows, ready to give you one hell of a scare. Stay curious, but stay safe, too. You never know what lurks round that next bend in the tracks.